Hey there. I'm EposVox. I'm a recovering YouTuber. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Hi. It's been a while. I haven't really filmed anything in a couple of months. That may not seem that way because I've actually posted to the YouTube channel in the months while I was actually on vacation. I recorded a lot of those Streamlabs videos in advance. At the time of recording, I still have like 10 more waiting on approval. I finished the course, but they just haven't given me any feedback whatsoever on the episodes. But it's been 30 days since I've posted to the EposVox YouTube channel. And like I said, longer since I've filmed for it. I have filmed a couple Lost Saves videos in the Dualcom podcast with BBK, but those are a lot more casual, and with the podcast, I just got to get in front of a microphone. I don't even have to appear. And I'm in the middle of trying to fix up my Windows 98 rig. I got a new desk setup going that I will showcase in a future video. I'm going to have to completely start over my Windows install from scratch here, which is fine. I have one of those memory card adapters, so I can stop using a hard drive for it. Anyway, my hair's a mess. I haven't really shaved, but I finally had that feeling that I want to talk. I don't know if this is going to go on EposVox, or if I will end up posting it to... I have a second channel, in case you're not watching that there, called Final Draft, which is... I just realized I'm not recording in RAW, and I kind of want to play around with the RAW, so give me just a minute. There we go. I'm filming on a review camera I've had for a few months. I was only supposed to borrow for 1 month. And my favorite lens, which I've not really had a chance to talk about. This thing is wide and ridiculous. Anyway, like I said, not really in presentable form, but I wanted to finally sit down and talk. And I don't know if this is going on main or my second channel. I think that's what I was saying. I have a second channel called Final Draft. I think I just renamed it to be Final Draft and EposVox 2, so it's clear that it's me. I make a lot of side channels with their own branding. I get really obsessed with the branding and the theme. And then people are like, why are you stealing EposVox's content? Why do you sound like EposVox? And it's like, gee, I wonder. And I'll reply from main to those comments and try to surprise people, and then they just get more confused. So I have been planning a where I've been kind of update video for the last month or so, and I have now outlined some thoughts for it in 2 completely different notebooks, and my goal was to then collate them and create a better outline, but then I realized that part of that is my entire point. My entire problem, not my entire point. The inability to just kind of sit down and do a silly video anymore has become a problem. I've really been struggling with YouTube, with my job as a content creator, so to speak, here for a really long time. I really locked in on the stream professor niche around 2019 after years of you all pushing for it and years of YouTube advice being like, yeah, you gotta be the guy for the thing. I really locked in on it around 2019, went to LTX that year. It kind of rejuvenated me a bit to connect with fellow YouTubers and some viewers and whatever. Rejuvenated me a bit. Locked in on that niche. And then we ran right into the pandemic when streaming, content creation, work from home stuff exploded. And that kind of set me up for failure in the sense, not as bad as others who hired a bunch of people and then had to lay them off and whatever. I stayed small on purpose, but it did make it feel more like this decision was finally the right path for me. And then by 2022, things were slowing down significantly. We moved, got a house, I got this whole big studio, I was ready to really lock in. And both I was kind of getting bored of it, especially as my priorities started changing with having a kid and having less work time. And then viewership and revenue on streaming stuff really slowed down a ton once we all started going back to normal, so to speak, even though arguably we're still not there and we shouldn't be there. And then a lot of stuff has come up that's kind of broken my connection to the niche that I operate in. Streaming has blown up bigger than ever, and yet to me is less interesting than ever, both because most of the problems have already been solved, at least bigger picture ones. And so in terms of like educating and things like that, everyone knows what to do at this point, and those that don't can just watch what's already there. I don't need to keep rehashing the same how-to points. But it's also gotten mainstream enough that culturally, I'm just not interested anymore. It's this popularity contest, drama fest, all of the I hate to be that person, but like normie content is just so off-putting to me. Like, I have zero interest whatsoever. It is really hard to get me to watch a stream at this point. It's not. I just don't like what it's turned into, and I don't like what Twitch has turned into, and Amazon, and all of that. And so I've become really disconnected with that. Combined with the massive, just continued to scale exponential releases of gear, that it feels like, even as someone whose sole job with gear has always been to just kind of fix the mic a little bit there, has always been to kind of sort through the RAF and make good recommendations to you to get you the best possible option for you. There's just too much junk. And it's easy to say no to a lot of the junk, the no-name brands, the smaller stuff. But then there's demand from viewers to cover this random $20 microphone that's going to sound like a $20 microphone and be nothing worthwhile. And I get stuck in this really weird, and this is going to be indicative of my bigger picture struggle, I get stuck in this really weird position of like, I feel like I have FOMO. I feel like I'm missing out on viewership from not covering every little tiny OBS update, Twitch update, whatever, new streaming feature, new idea, because I used to, at least for a couple years there, I was doing every little possible thing I could, especially when I had the budget to work with an editor a little bit to the videos I was not interested in pass off. So every little product, whatever, I feel like I'm missing out by not covering those things, but also covering those kinds of things is less and less viable than ever before. Streaming content creation as an educational niche on YouTube has become completely not viable in terms of viewership, revenue, sustainability, relevance. There's a whole video from Knackers about it, which was great. It honestly made me tear up because it's something, like I said, I've been struggling with for years and no one seems to talk about it. I think we're talking about it more this year for once, but like I've been really feeling that drift with the content scene. And combine that with YouTube itself has made so many changes over the past couple years to completely nuke back catalog performance, kill the search on the website, shove shorts everywhere. I've made a whole video about this, but it's gotten even worse since then. And just really neuter the ability for educational content to be served to the people who would want to see it. Where I used to, even when I was a fraction, like a tenth of my current channel size, I was able to maintain pretty solid viewership that was able to sustain me full time living in an apartment and whatever. And this was without the crazy sponsorships. And at this point, back catalog views are non-existent on my channel pretty much. There's the occasional one or two videos, and then otherwise I am fighting purely on the viewership, on the like upfront viewership of videos I make week to week. And those are already down because of all the changes and the lack of relevance of streaming stuff. It is just, it's really defeating. And it then challenges, like the challenge there should be to then play the YouTube game and to continue escalating the scale of my content and the ridiculousness of it and play that whole game. And it really made me start to think about, there's this quote from, I think, John Boyd about, do you want to be somebody or do you want to do something? And this has been a struggle of my career since I started this, of do I want to be the YouTuber? You might know who I'm thinking of because there's a couple in particular that are this, but that they are the guy. A lot of the times, a lot of people think of me, especially when it comes specifically to capture card reviews, but if you think about streaming or whatever, there's usually, or any niche, just to be clear, there's usually the guy that has made it his or her, I guess, point to be known as the guy or the gal for the thing. But that comes at the sacrifice of a lot of stuff in terms of integrity, quality, value being offered, leaving people behind. There's a lot sacrificed to be that guy. And then you're not really doing the thing anymore. You're doing all of the stuff to keep up the image of being the guy. Or do you want to do the thing, which means doing the thing that you love day in and day out? And I've always, for the most part, been content with sacrificing being the guy and not having as many of the riches that come with that in favor of doing the thing, because doing the thing was what mattered to me. I got into this not to be some famous YouTuber, but to do what I love day in and day out, to do what I wake up excited to do day in and day out. Now, I was excited to do that until recently. I've really struggled with that. And I for the most part, I've been content sacrificing the fame and the fortune to do what I love. Sorry, this chair is not comfortable. But that is a harder choice to live with now that I'm responsible for a family, for a child, for a household. And I'm not solely responsible for the income. Thankfully, my wife now has a full-time salaried job that has been a lifesaver for me to figure my crap out. But there's that. There's all the floating gear, the flood of nonsense gear reviews that overwhelmed me. You may have seen that video where I was like, hey, I'm overwhelmed by gear reviews. I wound up donating, giving away to you all most of that stuff that I thought truly was not relevant anymore and that the companies themselves would not miss if I did not cover at this point, which was a fair assertion. I still have a small pile of to-do review stuff, and like I'm filming with a camera that I borrowed on the premise of a review I've yet to review, and I really don't want to return it, but I'm pretty sure I will have to. Whatever. And then there's the whole AI thing. And yes, I've talked about AI. I've covered AI. I did cover a lot more of the generative AI stuff than I wish I would have, I guess I will say. I am always an optimist when it comes to technology and integrating tech with creativity, especially as someone who's never... I'm not an illustrator. I'm not a painter, and I may do things with painting. I love spray paint art. I love mixed media art. I love D&D miniature painting. But I'm not a traditionally trained classical kind of artist in that regard. I've always been mixed media, more hands-on buildy stuff or technical stuff. And mixing technology with my creativity to find my art and to find my voice in that regard has been crucial to my creative outlet, to my success, to my ability to be me. And along the way, there has always been these technological jumps that has then been deemed not art. I mean, even when I first started, like, digital photography was considered not an art form, and editing your pictures was considered violating the art form. Anything technical in that regard. I remember when drawing tablets were this huge sin against drawing, and like all these little things. And I'm so used to being othered for many reasons beyond that, that when I see resistance to a new technology in that regard, that I see so much potential for, assuming things get worked out, I tend to champion it. Historically, I've always been right. In this instance, I was not right. I have since privated any video or deleted any video speaking positively of generative AI. I don't believe in using chatbots or AI art. I do use AI video stuff to tweak images occasionally as a fun thing that you'll see in certain things, but it's not something that would ever have actually replaced paying an artist or doing the art myself. It is a stage in the art creation process. But broadly speaking, I had assumed, because historically I feel like that has been the case, I had mistakenly assumed the struggles with copyright licensing, fair treatment, the parameters, the bounds that you expect to be put around this kind of thing, I had assumed would be put there. And it wasn't. And it's made very clear that the companies supporting this stuff are going full mask off evil mode. They don't care. And I cannot possibly support that. And everything is turning into AI. I can't even drive down my expressway without seeing advertisements for AI in my city. Nevertheless, online, everything is AI. I am really disillusioned with where the state of technology just is in general. So all of those things kind of coalesce into me having a giant question mark as far as what I want to do and how I want to turn this around to continue doing what I do for a living. It's been really weird. And my goal has always been to have multiple pillars through my multiple channels so that I can lean on whichever one my interests are currently in. So like I had lost saves for gaming stuff. So when I'm really fixated on gaming things, I'm not hurting the bottom line because I'm focused on something that's supporting me. I had Analog Dreams, which was supposed to be art and my music channel. There is some weird, on top of the AI baggage, that was how I launched that channel. There's some weird stuff. Like right now, if I upload a short to it that's greater than a minute, it won't turn into a short, even though it will on every other channel, including brand new channels I just made. So I don't, maybe it's the artist, the music artist thing is affecting features. I don't know what's going on with that. So that's why I made this other second channel, that if I do dedicated art stuff that I decide truly does not belong on EposVox, it'll go on this channel. But then that whole overthinking what video goes on what channel has completely put me in analysis paralysis. There are so many expectations that I have put on myself from once my channel achieved a certain level of success that I think aren't necessary, but feel necessary to make a video perform. Like I can just shitpost all day, but to have a video that performs that doesn't feel like it's hurting the channel and can actually benefit me financially and success-wise and whatever, it feels like there's this bucket of expectations, which means I have to script things appropriately so I can record it concisely and spit it out and have it edited really well. It has to be on topic because, like, I want to make videos about my creative projects, about my art, about whatever, and I'm like, do I need a second channel for that? Because the dream scenario, I guess, would be to have, to be that multiple YouTube play button guy. Again, guy versus thing, doing the thing versus being the guy. The ideal scenario, theoretically, I guess, would be to be that multiple play button channel person so that I drove Analog Dreams to 100K. It's sustainable on its own. So when I post videos there, I can just, coast on that when I'm focused on art. And then when I come back to get interested in something tech related, EposVox goes up. And when it's gaming or gaming tech related, lost saves go up. And then I can they're all doing their thing. That's great in theory. The problem with that is if I can't sustain any of it, then all I'm doing is taking my limited cup of resources and draining it into this other little cup that isn't as important when I'm doing secondary work. If I can't maintain EposVox uploads, which is what my bottom line is arguably most dependent on, then I can't putting time into these other things that may or may not grow. Lost saves is a done deal enough that I can keep pushing it and not feel like I have to justify it, but a new art channel or whatever. It is hard to justify putting time into that when it may go nowhere. It may take years. And if I lose my momentum, the ground underneath my feet now for some success that may happen years from now, you see where the problem is with that. I've got a lot of notes here, but that kind of, I guess, underlines the big identity struggle I've had for, ow! Oh, God, this chair. I bought the stupid, you've probably seen this. I don't know if you'll recognize it from this view. The Hug is a very stupidly expensive chair that I bought specifically for my art desk, for my mini painting setup, because I can sit backwards on it and have it, if I Riker it here, I can sit backwards on it. You can't see this. My back is to the chair, and so I can lean over and still be supported to paint, because otherwise if you're in a normal chair and hunching over to paint or do art, your back is dead. I bought it for this. Seems perfect for it. Haven't had any issues, but using it as a traditional chair, because I don't have any other chair over here, makes my butt really, really sad, and it's got the arm parts that stick out. Anyway, past couple years I've been really... This is just frozen. Yeah, I just got to completely reinstall Windows. Great. Anyway, the past few years I've been really struggling with an identity crisis with EposVox as a... What do you want to call it? A persona, a brand, a professional identity? And that may seem silly, except EposVox has been tightly tied in with me as a person for a very long time now. I made the channel name in 2012, so 13 years ago now. It was early 2012 too, so it's definitely been 13 years now. And I had channels before that and whatever, but that was the first time I really locked in on a more professional name. And then that channel was my everything. This YouTube channel, or EposVox, I don't know if this is going on that. I put my heart, my soul, every ounce of my effort, every ounce of spare time through college, through my early jobs, and then once I went full time into this. And so it shifted with my interests. It was a gaming channel originally that was just doing more professional, good content now that I had spent quite a few years kind of learning how to do it. And then it was a co-op Let's Play kind of gaming channel with my wife, which was pretty cool for a while. And then it was a kind of a Pokemon news and Let's Play channel. But all along the way, I was making OBS videos and tech reviews and things like that, kind of as that interest was growing and as I realized I could do that. And then eventually it was clear those were the videos that I needed to double down on. And so it shifted into a tech channel. And then, like I said, in 2019, Stream Professor became the clear hierarchy of that. And so I niched down on that. But it's always been, it's been what I've been interested in. It's been where my passions have been. And like I said, I tend to wake up every day excited to make videos for this channel. And I've noticed more and more that has not been the case lately. And it's because I am drifting apart from the stream professor identity that the name has now become associated with, as well as all of the technologies around it, and the things that I want to do keep getting deprioritized in order to do what I think I need to do. Like, I have had scripts and ideas and gadgets sitting around to do cool experiments with my analog camcorders. I've wanted to make videos about camcorders in the first place. They're a huge trend right now, and I honestly feel upset sometimes when I see random YouTubers who have gotten a bajillion views talking about camcorders or whatever, because I'm like, I've been doing this my entire life, been using these camcorders, playing with them, and I've amassed a horde of them to talk about them. And, you know, there's this weird kind of brief, fleeting kind of feeling of like, well, they haven't earned this like I have, but I haven't earned this because I haven't actually made the videos, because everything else has taken priority. It's been that, art projects, cool gaming stuff, covering CRTs again. Like, everything I want to do the past few years has gotten squashed down by an onslaught of review cycles for review things coming out, like graphics cards and cameras and whatever. Some of them I've wanted, some of them I haven't, as well as brand deals, which I've needed to survive along the way. But I got into this, I found my first success doing this by chasing whatever was interesting to me, by making completely random videos about cool stuff that I find and what I like about it and the interest that I approach to it. And as things got more and more serious in my videos, as I take them more seriously, I feel less and less of me in them. Used to, I had no constraints on how I made a video. I'd just show up one day and film it. I'd point a camera at a thing and film it. And now I got to think about proper coverage, a B-roll, scripting it well to get all the technical details right, framing it in the right way so that it's algorithmically sanitized to be the most appealing. And that kills it for me. It absolutely ruins it. That's why I haven't made videos on the fun stuff. On top of the obligations getting in the way, I have to overthink it. That's why I haven't even made this update video that I had planned to film early into my break, because it's been 2 months now, and I haven't because I keep thinking that I need to organize it better instead of just getting in front of the freaking camera and talking. And it's so ironic because the way I got into making OBS tutorials was not taking it seriously at all. It's clearly become this thing. I found my voice as a teacher along the way, but everyone was making these super specific DX story and Fraps videos, and not everyone could use it. And I discovered OBS as it was coming out in OBS Classic mode. And like, it was this kind of complicated thing that not a lot of people know how to use, but like, I was figuring it out pretty quickly, and I wanted to spread the word. And I got up and started screen recording tutorials for it with barely any clue what I was doing with the software. Because how I always figure out programs is I just jump in and play with them, and then I kind of intuit things for the most part. And that's what I did with my OBS tutorials. I mostly just opened it up and I'm like, hey, this is a new free program to do this. You don't got to pirate Wirecast or Flash Media Live Encoder anymore. But I didn't have expertise in it yet. I just started recording it. And now I got to take it. I got to have every piece of information ahead of time and take it so seriously. And I want to get back to just doing the fun videos because I was having fun with them and not trying to structure it as much. I still like the artistry of it and the craft of it, and I want to do the best job I can and make it the prettiest and use the coolest gear that make it the most fun. Ironically, I'm making it extra ugly here. I'm using a super wide angle lens that actually lets me get ridiculously close, but I've also got this lens adapter on it where, I don't know if you can see it if I kind of turn this. It basically adds chromatic aberration to the edges, which I had been doing in post forever to simulate some like really old school lenses or like VHS effects. And now I can do it, like if I put my hand out here, you probably see some fringing. I can do it in the glass to give it like this retro vibe, which is sick. It also softens it up a bit because I'm shooting on the 6K full frame camcorder. I guess I'm going to review my notes here because there was a lot I wanted to mention. I just want to be transparent. Like, I just want to share where I'm at so you understand why things have been weird and why I've been quiet on the main YouTube front. But like, I needed some time to recalibrate. And so I really did a deep dive, gutting everything out of the studio that I wasn't going to cover, cleaning things up, building a whole new desk setup for the retro vibes here. This is for like an anti-algorithm series going up on Lost Saves soon. And I wanted to focus on creativity and making stuff again because that's what I always wanted to do with this whole hobby. The whole point of this was for me to be able to make stuff. And instead I've taught millions of people how to make their stuff and really struggled to prioritize making my own and getting anyone else to care about me making my own. And so like the past couple weeks I've been making zines. I write a ton. I am always writing. I am a huge notebook guy. So I'm always writing. I've been making zines. I'm making little arts and crafts. I did some political mixed media art just to vent some feelings early in the year. Anything to be like like the more AI is shoved down our throats and the more the whole dead internet theory seems to really be taking over, the more I want to go in the opposite direction. The more I want to, every YouTube comment I get that is like, you'd look better if you just shaved your head and shaved your beard and wore plain shirts or whatever, makes me want to go weirder. Makes me want to put on more makeup or nail polish or weird space pizza earrings and make it as weird as possible, because the more algorithms and the social homogenization that comes with it sanitizes everything, the less human it feels. The more AI gets shoved down our throats, the more I want to go back to making stuff with my hands. I was really inspired in the early AI eras because, which has been like 3 years now, because it felt like it was opening some doors that a lot of people could use. And if you saw any of my videos on that stuff, it was purely, you can use this as either a concept art phase or a starting point, and then do all the work you already want to do after that. And so quickly I would get comments that are just like, why would you say that? I'm just going to make the AI art. I'm just going to have it generate that and then sell it. And I'm like, no, you didn't make this. Of course you're not going to sell it. And they're like, yeah, that's all I want to do. And I'm like, what do you mean that's what you're going to do? No, you're supposed to use it as a piece of a bigger. And so it pushed me. It pushed me so hard to just get back to making stuff with my hands, to getting back to making creative stuff as directly hands-on as possible with as little generative computer stuff as I can. Which has gotten me back into cooking more as well. Oh, I keep forgetting to mention, I launched a cooking channel. It's accompanying a blog. It's called neurospicy.cooking. It's for fellow adult picky eaters. That's the main goal of the blog, is to speak to fellow adult picky eaters, to help deal with that, to help understand food and how I've kind of learned to understand a lot of food that I historically would not eat and build up my palate, as well as just learn to cook some really good looking food. And I got a smoker this year, so I've been smoking. So I got a YouTube channel that's just mostly shorts focused at the moment, just to see where it goes. Paired with that, I'll have it linked below. But I got back to cooking, I got back to art, making zines, writing. I feel like I've taught all the streaming things that there is to teach over the past 10 years, 12 years. And now it's time for me to do other stuff. And all of this kind of highlighted, like if you caught in my earlier story, my EposVox channel has been a kind of rotating door of interests. It's been me and what I've been interested in over the years. And so like I said, it had the gaming phase, the co-op phase, the Pokemon phase, the standard tech phase, the streaming phase, then the stream professor role. Like, it's been this rotating door. So it stands to reason that at this point I would shift it a little bit into something else. Like, that's what I have always done. If anything, the stream professor phase has lasted longer than any of my other phases, but it's that combined with the kind of scaled success that came with it that makes it really scary to leave it. I am afraid of abandoning the only real sense of authority or like expertise that I've been established in the world. It felt like as soon as I adopted the stream professor name, after you all had been commenting stream prof, OBS prof, whatever in the comments since my earliest OBS videos, like once I finally accepted that name and adopted it, it's like immediately a million doors opened up for me. Even if I didn't do anything else, by just adopting that name and acknowledging my own authority in the space, I got speaking engagements, I got more cooperation from big companies, I got more sponsorships, I got more companies wanting my feedback on things, and I'm like, I've been here the whole time. Why did I have to do this one thing? And so it's really scary to try to just abandon that, to abandon my expertise, to abandon what so many people come to me for. I still have people talk to me all the time who are like, yeah, man, anytime someone asks about streaming or about this capture card, I point them to your channel. And I'm like, great. I really hope I'm even remotely serving them at this point. And it's this, like I said, it's like the FOMO I mentioned before. I have this weird FOMO of missing out on whatever viewership is there for streaming expertise, because that's what I've done for so long, that like I feel like I'm not fulfilling that role, and thus I'm throwing away free success. But also the sustainability of that just continues to just free fall. And so sticking with it would be career suicide almost. So like I don't I don't know how to balance that. I don't know what the answer is. I do know I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to take things less seriously and just inject the stuff I want to do in alongside it. There will still be dedicated streaming stuff. I've still got capture cards and webcams to review. I am excited to review them once I get this off of my back and I feel like I can do it again. Elgato and Avermedia both have had new capture cards. Elgato has a new webcam that's pretty cool that I've been playing with for months and months, even before it came out. I just need to also prioritize my other stuff, which I keep saying I will do. I think I even made a video in like 2021 where I'm like, everything has to change and I'm going to do more fun. And I did. And that's kind of what led to the start of Lost Saves. But it didn't necessarily fix EposVox, if that makes any sense. I'm going to do more commissions, hopefully. I've got zines. I might try to list those on my shop. I have a photo book I'm working on too that maybe I'll list in the shop just to see if there's any interest. Those kinds of things. I want to do more collaborative stuff again. Yeah, I have a million notes. Most of it's still just been exploratory. Like I said, I don't have a final answer. I don't know what the fix here is. I don't know what the solution is because YouTube keeps changing the game and the scene has evolved rapidly. But I do know if I really believe in myself here for a moment, the success that I have always found along the way has come from pursuing what interests me the most. And I think it's time I got back to that. It's going to take me a little bit to work up to it. I've been not making videos for 2 months. I've gone from that person who I hate admin work, emails, meetings, because all I want to do is film videos, and I woke up every day wanting to film it. I've gone from that to the idea of even filming a pickup B-roll shot just kind of randomly through my day at the moment makes me anxious and makes me feel stressed. And I've been working on that a ton. I've been putting a ton of work into myself. But I don't know if I'm ready. And I'm going to try to build up to it more by doing more of these kind of casual, let's just get it done. There's going to be very little editing on this. I will say shout out to Sarah Dici. Huge inspiration there. She has a second channel and she's been doing the same thing. After a whole bunch of personal stuff happened in her life, she just started posting to her second channel again as a way to get back on the saddle and get practicing again. And I was watching some more of those today, and I think that's part of what influenced me once I was banging my head against the CRT over here, that I was ready, was that's kind of what I need to do, is I just need to take off the gloves, so to speak. I'm horrible at these analogies, metaphors, whatever. I just need to let go of the expectations and just jump in and accept that maybe I don't get bangers every time. That's okay. Not every video can be my best work. And frankly, the Mr. Beastification of YouTube and online content, where everything has to one-up your last thing, that's just, no one can do that. No one can do that forever. That's not sustainable. It's damaging both to viewer expectations of what just like real life looks like. Like I've seen what it does to kids already, on top of fellow creators. Like that's not realistic. So I think I will post this on main. I think if I do more casual discussions like that, that'll be over on Final Draft. So go check that out. I'm only thinking I'm going to post this on main just because I want to reach you all. I want to tell you what's going on, and I can ping on Discord and I can send it to Patreon and I can post it on Blue Sky, and like I will reach a number of you, but I will reach more possibly posting on main. And then if I do more of these kind of vlog style whatevers as I'm getting back used to things, it'll go on Final Draft. So Final Draft for extra artsy stuff and behind the scenes stuff, Lost Saves for gaming content, Neurospicy Cooking for food. I'm just trying to remember if I don't know. There's been AI crap, spying, layoffs. I've been on my own digital minimalism journey. I got the Fuji GFX 100 RF. This thing is beautiful. So my everyday carry bag, which I guess I'll make a video on. I don't exactly go very many places, but like I'm carrying a pocket notebook of some sort all the time. I'm spinning, like, let me show you here. Where is it? I'm almost done with this notebook. I'll be done by probably mid-September at the latest. Yeah, so half of the notebook alone has just been August. It's been a good brain. This has been one of the healthiest things I do, and I've always been a notebook fiend. I've shown off my stack of notebooks where I write my scripts or ideas or whatever. I've lost a lot over the years, but like I've always been a pen and paper guy. So I always have one of those with me. I got a dedicated camera and sometimes a camcorder. My little PSP Go I showed off on Lost Saves. And I'm trying to leave my phone away from me or in my bag as much as possible. I'm on my own digital minimalism journey. I've talked about it a bunch on the DualCom podcast with BBK. I'll have that linked in the description as well, where it's not about removing tech, but making sure whatever you do utilize is the best possible tool for the job, and not just taking on a bunch of extra random stuff for bloat. And it's been really healthy, and I think everyone needs to do this. But it doesn't fix my job expectations. So, still got a lot of work to do on that. Very excited. I got some cool stuff. I got Triad Orbit sent me these really cool mounts, like mounting hardware that I think if I could afford it would replace all of my existing like grip gear in my studio. I've got the Canon is this the C80? The new C80, 6K full frame cinema camera that I've been playing with. I don't know what the difference is between it and my R5C, which is technically a better camera, but I want to film things on this so much more. Like, I really want to keep this thing. Something about it just makes me want to talk into it more. I don't know. I've got OBSBot stuff, new Elgato stuff, lots of stuff I want to talk about. I just gotta be comfortable with it. I started taking vocal coaching classes, because even recording this video now, like, my throat is just shot. I used to be able to stream for hours and hours, and now, like, my throat is just raw at this point, so I don't know. I've been ideating on this new anti-algorithm series for Lost Saves for a long time. I am very stoked to show you, so be on the lookout for that. And I do hope when I do return to stream like once or twice a month again, it will most certainly only be on YouTube on EposVox. I want to make more videos. I might do another podcast alongside the one I do with BBK. And like I said, more shop stuff, commissions, that kind of thing. I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting things, which is why I typically like outline and script and whatever, but I'm gonna go see if I can't convert this Windows 98 install to like I don't know if it's an SD card or a CF card. I forgot what I did with my adapter. Where is it? This thing? Nope, that's memory. I don't know where I put it. I will find it. I have one of those adapters that converts your IDE cable to like a memory card, so I can completely reinstall Windows 98 again, so I can get to playing some sweet Voodoo 3 games. I'm very excited. Remember to be kind, rewind, I guess. Yeah. Thanks for listening.